Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. It's beautiful Friday, and it is April 15th, 2022. Gorgeous. It looks like spring is here to stay. It looks like that, but hopefully it really is. We have with us today Dawn Wilson. She's a new author. She's from Charlton, and her book is great. If you have a teenager in your family, if you're a teenager watching, you're going to love this one. It's called Who Am I? A Teen's Creative Guide to Adulting. Where was this when I was a kid? Thank you so much, Dawn, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you have purple on. Did you design the cover?
Actually, a former student designed my cover. I'm a teacher of graphic communications, and I have actually two students graduated already, and one did the cover design, and one did all the illustrations.
Boy, did you get lucky. The color just grabbed. When I got this in the mail, I'm like, whoa. That is beautiful. It's her very, very first book. First of all, tell us now, you grew up in, you grew up in Charlton? Where did you grow up?
No, actually I grew up in New York and moved here when I was 8 years old, lived in Auburn, grew up in Auburn, and then moved to Oxford, Douglas, and now in South Grafton.
Just where I used to live, not long ago, South Grafton. We were just talking about that. So where did you graduate high school?
Auburn High.
Auburn High.
Yeah.
And then you went to college.
Yes. Framingham State.
Fine arts, right?
Yes. Yep.
What made you change your mind?
About going to college. I didn't think I would ever go to college, honestly. A guidance counselor said that I did really well in art and graphic arts, and said that I'd be up for a couple scholarships. So he kind of opened the door to going to college, because no one in my family had gone to college before.
We got the opposite situation. It was very clear, you're going to college. Everybody went. And the girls then were all majoring in elementary education. It took me getting to school to realize this is not me. I love kids. But when I saw my roommate is an art major, I'm like, oh, that looks really not only easy but fun.
Yes.
So where did you go to college?
Framingham State.
I went to Plymouth State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too far.
Framingham, a lot of good things about that college.
Yeah, at the time it was one that had an amazing art program.
Yeah. I
had looked into a couple of other local colleges, and obviously some of them couldn't afford it all, but for a state school it had an amazing art program, so
yeah,
that's where I ended up.
And you had a degree in fine art.
Fine art, yes.
Yeah, so where did you take it from there? How'd you get into teaching?
It's a long story, but
go for it.
So I had worked in a couple of different printing trade show industry jobs. I started on the computer at one company and learned the ins and outs, and then from there actually got laid off from that job. Had two little tiny kids, and I actually applied for another job, which was a printing company, and there I started writing pre-press and worked my way up to managing the whole print shop. But then there were some things going on. I knew something was not right, and they were selling the company, and when they sold the company it just didn't seem the same fit. So what I did was I had a coworker that I knew, and he kept poking the bear and saying, you'd really be good at teaching. You should go check this out. So I did. I job shadowed at a BBT here, local.
Right down the street.
Yeah.
Blackstone Valley Tech, right here in Upton. Wonderful kids' school.
Yeah, and they had the graphic communications program, and when I sat down, I'm like, you do this all day?
Was it an artistic thing you helped in?
It was just kind of substituting for the graphic communications department.
Yeah.
And there was the computers, there were the presses, screen print, all these different things, and I just was like, oh yeah, I could really get into this.
It's like a kid in a candy shop.
Yes. So actually I did apply for a job there and at Baypath, and that's in Charlton, and I ended up getting the job in Charlton. Been there for 12 years.
12 years?
12 years I've been teaching now, so this is like my second career. And
This is great. You're an entrepreneurial spirit.
I am.
I can
Very
relate.
much so.
I relate big time. So you're over at the Charlton. Why did I think Bay Path was in Worcester? Did it move?
No, there's different vocational schools all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many kids in your class when they come in?
I have 20 per class, so I teach freshmen to seniors.
Yeah.
And I have 20 in each grade. Yeah.
Did you growing up do better if it were more smaller and more one-on-one with a teacher, or did you not mind growing up?
What I've learned through the time is I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
And I need to see how things work. I need to visually kind of see it displayed or worked at, and that's how I learn. And now being a teacher, I realize that, but there's audio learners, people who can listen and learn from that, or kinetic, who need to move around to learn. So
what happens if you're all three? I tried pigeonholing. I tried to say, okay, I took a little personality test, right?
Sure.
Kinesthetic, which is a hands-on.
Yeah.
Auditory, got that. Visual, all three.
Yeah.
So and let's talk about this book now.
Yes, please.
What made you decide to write Who Am I for teens?
My students.
They talked you into it?
They didn't talk me into it. I am a teacher in a classroom as opposed to down in a shop, but I'm part of the graphics shop. And I would have discussions with my students about school, what they were learning. They'd come in all grumpy and I'd let them talk about it, and just listen to what they were saying. And that's where it all stemmed from. And why are we here? What are we learning this for? When am I ever going to use this kind of things in the academic world? Whereas the vocational is more of an applied learning. So what you're learning, you can do.
Yeah.
So I listened to my students. They were very influential in a lot of the situations in the book, and a lot of different kinds of things that teens deal with on a daily basis. Okay. And it kind of brought back a lot of memories of how I grew up, and things that I wish I had, and so things like that. That's what stemmed the writing of this book.
Well, I marked. These are such great columns. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. What was that one about? Tell us about that one.
Well, it starts out, as people, we have thoughts, right? So we can easily come up with bad things in our lives, right? Oh, this is not good. The things that make us feel bad. The good things, it's a little bit harder for people to think of all the good things in their life. So I do this exercise, and this was part of introducing the subject matter to the kids.
What did they think of it?
I think it opened their eyes to just a different way of thinking about things.
And then you have one, this I love, intuition. Trust your intuition.
Yes. So many times we get that gut feeling inside.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't listen to it because we're all up in our heads. We're all thinking about what's going on. What am I going to look like? How's somebody going to... and really have to go with your inside feelings. And I talk a lot about emotions and feelings in the book. Growing up, we weren't allowed to express ourselves. We weren't allowed to talk about how we felt.
At home or at school? Or both?
Both, really.
Really?
Really,
Okay.
Growing up. You was you were seen and not heard. So, growing up, I had a hard time describing how I felt. I didn't have, you're happy, you're sad. But there's so many emotions and feelings in between there.
Yep.
And it allows people, especially teens, to kind of identify with how they're feeling and what's coming up in their world,
Exactly. You could get it. But again, we are talking with Dawn Wilson, and her book is Who Am I? A Teen's Creative Guide to Adulting. How can they get a hold of your book?
Well, you can order it on Amazon.com, or actually a local bookstore is housing my book right now, Book Lovers Gourmet in Webster. And I love Book Lovers Gourmet.
Oh,
It
okay.
really, It's a great place, and it's an independent bookstore, and I like to support local people.
Right. Get you out to Tatnut.
Yes,
Big one.
Right.
All right, now she has a note that says, "You are not alone." I love that. Choices and change. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't see a choice coming up. I knew I was going to have to probably go to college, and that was it. I mean, that was what you did, but what my parents didn't figure was I'm pretty much of a free spirit.
Yeah.
And I said, that looks like fun. What am I doing? Yeah, choices and change is important.
Yes, very important. Every day we make choices, and we can choose to be happy or sad.
Yeah.
We can choose to think about the good or the bad or the ugly,
Yeah.
which is really not how you look. Ugly is not used in the book as a physical attribute. It's that really hard feeling stuff that you have a hard time kind of
Yeah.
grappling with.
That was the thing. This is awful. In my graduating high school class, you know, in the yearbook,
Yes.
that was the theme of our class. I don't know who picked it, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. It was over. Are you familiar with Wilbraham?
Yes.
Okay, that's
yeah.
where I go. But we were, more than 200 kids in my class. So we were the first to graduate over at the Springfield Coliseum.
Okay.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. I never figured out what they meant.
It might have been I think there's a movie.
There is.
So
Yeah, it's
maybe
like
it
a
has to
Western.
do with that?
Yeah, with a Western with a whistle or something.
I don't know.
I don't know who decided that. Another chapter is, now, okay, here we go again. Direction. What if you want to go in lots of different directions and you're a late bloomer?
Yes. Well, I'm a late bloomer.
Well, so was I.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm the oldest of three, so
You're the oldest.
I was kind of the leader, or everyone looked at me, but, at 18, I moved out of the house. That's just what I did.
You
and
never went back?
Never went
Oh
back.
boy, I sure did. Yeah, for a couple of years. That didn't work. Come home, stay a little while, out again.
Yeah.
Like a bad penny. It keeps rolling back home to mom and dad.
Well-
They were good about it.
You know what? Everyone has different life experiences, and they're all good. It's
Well-
whatever anyone experiences and goes through, that's their journey. And this is about
It is.
having our journey.
Did your parents support you? Go with what all your interests were?
Yes, very
So-
much. Growing up
Okay.
throughout the years,
Yeah.
absolutely. My mom loved her crafts. My dad was into trains and building these dioramas, and they fought anything I was interested in. They encouraged.
That is
so
excellent.
yeah, I was
That's
very
really-
fortunate.
I know. My mother was, we had moved from Wilbraham, and that was a house I grew up in. Big, big house. I hadn't known anything really any different. And then said, we're moving down to Norwalk, Connecticut, which is near New York, where Dad would be picking up his work. And he said, oh, yeah, there's a yard there. I thought, oh, this will be so nice, like I've got here.
Yeah.
I got down there, and I was absolutely disappointed. I went, oh, I'd look out the window and see roof, everything, and I told my mother, no, I want to go back to New Hampshire. And I was getting sick. I wanted to go back so much. She said, you better go do it. Like your parents. You got to be
Yeah.
in your bonnet. Just go do it. I had $400 in my pocket. They
Yeah.
put me on a bus. I didn't have a car. Up to New Hampshire. Up I went for a while. Came back in about a year or two.
Sure.
But I did it.
Yeah.
They were very patient about that. I mean, 400 would not take you anywhere now.
No, nowadays.
No, not at all. The direction thing. Now, what happens when the kids come in your class and they're very obviously interested in what you're teaching, the subject? But do you ever get a sense that this one's going to go this direction, this one might go this direction?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think kids feel like they have to figure out their life by the end of high school.
Oh, God.
They
no,
have to
yeah.
know exactly what's going to happen, where they're going, what they're going to do, and I think that's society's pressure on them. And especially for my seniors, showing them these things, I do a lot of little who am I exercises with them to
Yeah.
kind of get them to think of, what are they like? Your parents might be pushing you to college, you got to go to college, but maybe they don't feel like going to college.
Yeah.
Or they think they have to do that because that's what I'm supposed to do. And I feel that if they learn early rather than later who they are, then they can make those decisions and choices for themselves.
Yep. I agree 100%. Did you do well in math?
No.
Okay.
I was okay.
But that was college prep in high school. You did one or two things in high school. Either you were the other kids that probably, back then, a vocational school was not considered a cool place to go.
Right.
So if you were going to college, you're going to take college prep classes, and that was probably one of the worst things, in at least just one subject, math.
Yes.
And to this day, I don't even use trigonometry and algebra.
No.
It's amazing. I think I passed with a D, even with a tutor.
Well, mine was U.S. history. That was
Oh,
my
you hated
worst.
that one?
That was my worst subject.
Yeah. And art was your best.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know. English is you're good at English though too. Look at your book.
Well, I'm learning. I'm learning through the years. Yeah.
This is fantastic. She chose the cover, right? You chose the purple. She's
Yes.
got purple on. Who Am I? A Teen's Creative Guide to Adulting. And she even has pictures in here. They're like the diagrams type of thing. And places where you could actually write your own thoughts.
Yes.
This is fantastic. You did all the drawing?
No, I had a former student who did the illustrations in the book. But the charts and different things that, I'm a graphic designer as well, so I did the layout of the book and the charts and different things like that.
You should see. Now this page, under the which direction will you go? One of the kids did this. You can't see it that well, but it's on like a notebook opened up.
Oh,
And
that's the mind map. Yes, that is that's my journal.
it's your journal.
It is. And when I'm thinking about different subject matters, I do a mind map. And what a mind map is we as humans, we don't think linearly.
My husband thinks, he says
Literally.
he thinks linear.
In a line.
Linear. He thinks linearly, and I drive him nuts because I'm a multitasker. I do 3 things at once and change
Right.
the subject like that.
Exactly.
Drives him nuts.
So our minds are going all over the place, and our thoughts go from different things, and
Yeah.
we can kind of tie those together through a mind map. Doesn't have to be any certain way, and using colors and organizing our thoughts that way is an activity in the book that
Yeah.
kind of allows you to kind of free think about a subject, and then later look at it, and it kind of you can make the connections there.
This is fantastic. Yours is very, very filled.
Yes.
You're like my abstract art. It's called a wild ride design. It's very, and colorful. And you've got that same type of thing. This is your journal, right?
Yeah, it's my journal. Yes.
Do you encourage the kids to keep a journal?
Absolutely.
What do they think? How about the ones who can't seem to get into it?
Well, I explain to them a lot of times they think they have to draw.
Yeah.
And being creative has nothing to do with being artistic. Creativity comes in many different forms and flavors and different things. So I always encourage them to, what are they passionate about?
Yeah.
That's the stepping stone. What are you passionate about? And then step off of that into different things. So maybe their thing is music. Well, maybe they write music. So why don't you write some lyrics in there? And then using color. What colors come to mind when you're, writing your music? Is there a feeling towards, so encouraging them to look for their own gifts of creativity.
How about collaging? Do you do that?
Oh, I love collage,
Oh.
yes.
Before you leave, when you bring down, she's going to be having a book downstairs, right?
Yes.
She's going to drop off a copy of her book. You can borrow that and all. If you take a look before you go out, on one of the walls, some of the kids in the middle school in this area
Oh, yes.
did what looks to me like what we would have done in high school or college. They're like collages. and they're
Self-portraits,
portraits.
right? Yes.
Did you see them?
Yes,
Did you go down there?
I did go down just to see it, and it was like, wow, this is fantastic.
So did you leave a book yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No,
Oh, you
but I
already went
will.
down there and saw it?
Yeah, I just was looking around to see what the library was like
It's
here.
fantastic. We're going to get that art teacher on the show. I say it looked like it was done by people much more experienced and older. Guys, congratulations, middle school kids.
Yeah.
They never did that when I was in school. Did they do it with you? It didn't with me.
We had to draw a self-portrait,
We didn't do that.
but I think the creativity coming out of elementary schools and middle schools is
Yeah.
much more advanced than,
Definitely.
yeah.
Now, you are going to be appearing at the Book Lovers Gourmet in Webster. When is that going to be?
That is going to be April 30th. It's a Saturday. We're going to have a book signing. there. The book will be available. Actually, the first 25 customers are going to get a little swag bag of extras, bookmarks, an activity sheet, a little, pencil stickers. So,
so
some fun things.
Yeah, teens go up there with your friend or parents, right?
Yeah.
That sounds like you're going to. There's a cute coffee tables in the first part of the store.
Yes.
Really cozy.
Yes.
Now, are you going to be in the front part? Or the back?
The front part.
The front. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's April 30th.
1 to 3.
1 to 3 Saturday, up at the Book Lovers Gourmet in Webster. It's right off of Main Street.
Yes.
You go past Friendly's, go down past CVS and Walgreens, and it's the next one up on the left.
Yes.
You're coming from this area. It's not too hard. It's in a little kind of a plaza.
Yeah.
She's the one on the corner.
On the end.
She's got everything in there, not just books, but all kinds of cute tchotchkes.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Bookmarks and
CDs she has. She has gifts, cards, all kinds of things besides books. Gifts. Yeah, it's a great place.
Now, is this the last book you're going to write, or is this just the prelude?
Oh, I feel like this is just the beginning.
Good. Good. That just lifted my spirits even more. That's good. Is it in the works, or are you going to do it later?
Actually, the next thing in the works is a journal to accompany this.
I got to have that journal. I love journaling.
Yeah, it's the book talks a lot about journaling and so many different ways you can journal. And so right now I'm putting together a companion to the book that will be a journal.
Yeah.
So
when's that coming out?
I don't know yet.
Are you self-publishing?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're the boss, and you'll be able to know when it's coming.
I am. Yeah.
That's the best way to.
That is.
I love that. I love that. So people will find you there, and anything coming up after that yet?
Possibly.
Possibly.
After this book came out, all the ideas, like floodgates.
Definitely.
And so, as a teacher, I get the summers off, much needed, and that's usually my really focusing in on where I'm going to go, what steps I'm going to take. I'm also an artist, so I do encaustic painting right now.
Oh, you do that? It's that beautiful big raised paint.
Yes.
It's shiny.
Yes, it's an old method, really. It's encaustic is wax and Damar varnish, which is basically used in different ways, and so I'm just getting to learn the medium and really enjoying it.
We should have her on with some of her artwork. Definitely. With your artwork also, that we noticed in Deb's store, the Gourmet, Book Lovers Gourmet, you have artwork or whatever. She voluntarily put it right up there to be displayed, and people can buy it.
Yes, you can actually propose an art show with Debbie. I had one in last August. It was called Soul Vibrations. Very well. It was a different medium than I'm doing now. Some watercolors and mixed media with the encaustic. And fabric. So I'm all over when it comes to art.
I relate to that totally. If I see something I like, I want to try it.
Yeah.
I mean, really. How can they get a copy of your book?
So you can go to creativelyandnew.net as well to purchase the book straight from me. I have them available as well. Or Book Lovers Gourmet is going to house them. And right now I am working with a lot of libraries, donating a book to the libraries so that kids can just check it out.
Yep. And you're not retired yet. That's good, because now you have even more time to wait. You know what I was
That'll
thinking?
be my fourth career.
That's coming up in your next life.
Yes.
You know what I was thinking, Dawn, that this type of book would be excellent for seniors. A lot of them are retiring relatively early, and they want to start a whole new career. They're budding, just like a lot of our teens are. Complete with a journal. I can see you doing that.
We'll have to collaborate and brainstorm a little bit.
Yeah, with your talent for both the writing and the art skill and all this and that. And she does a great job. Keep it simple. I love that. Keep it simple. This was a great read. It's not hard to understand at all. Cute, like cartoon type of things. The last chapter, I think it's the last one, self-care.
Yes.
Gosh, that's important.
Our wellness toolbox. What's in our wellness toolbox? How do we take care of ourselves?
Yeah.
It's so important, especially in these times.
Oh.
Yeah.
The mental health of everybody.
Mental health, physical health, everything is combined. And taking care of ourselves is so important. And there's so many different ways you can do that.
Mhm.
And that depends on your interests.
Definitely.
You know, us artists, we
Yeah.
use art and creativity in that way. But, I mean, gardening, you know, playing sports. There's so many different ways to be creative
Yeah.
and to take care of ourselves.
And not to hide your butt. What does it say? To hide your what under a bushel? Hide your bushel under. What does it go? I don't know. Don't hide your whatever. Don't be shy about showing your talents.
Okay.
Don't hide your light under a bushel.
Oh.
I think I got it. It's an old saying, but my mom was very pro. Do what you need to do.
Mm.
Do what you need to do, and I got the message.
Yeah.
Dad was much stricter. She was a good buffer. Thank God she was there. Oh, they were not happy when he was. She's fine, but he was not happy when I said after a couple of years I'm leaving. I was bored.
Yeah.
Well, he made it clear when I got home. You're either going to go to business school or you're going to go to beauty school. What's going to be? So I knew automatically. I know where he wants me to go. Business school. So I did it. But I did just like you. Everything from corporate to nannying to live-in nannying to art. And then I went into broadcasting in college, and that's where it started.
Yeah.
We've got to have you back on again. Now, the journal will be out maybe in June.
Well, maybe.
We have her back on, and we'll talk about this again. There's a lot of teens out there, and
And I've had a lot of adults buying it for their and just saying how it's
Yeah.
a great conversation starter for parents and
It is.
teens.
it is. And
You know,
as I see too, I think adults are just big kids. Kids aren't little adults, but adults are big kids. A lot of what they say our personality forms at 6 years old.
Mm.
The base is core. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean you can't learn new things or anything.
Right.
But your core. And I look at some of the family albums, I'm like, oh, geez. My poor parents, they didn't know what was coming. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll
Oh,
have her
thank
back.
you. Thank
All
you
right.
so much for having me. This
You're
is
welcome.
a great place.
We'll
Thank
see you next time. I'll be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.